And it's not the song, and ironically, a song, put upon the tongue for the every one of the ways, hung for the great fall, for the Humpty Dumpty, you can find us at on the wall. Where the train that never left with me over the sunrise into row, expectation for the park and never newly local for the side of hollow of the fireflies, so this will be the backyard to let me hear the laugh of the trees. Where the bow ties to be crits for the be secrets of the rub across the cheeks, just the going on for the flow for the nothing, and from the lungs and the time, nothing, every recalling of the every young for the whole to be inside. Life right now, and understanding the much is required for them, much been given for the such of the kind and grateful and forgiving of disposing of the monster you are. And the kind of long sunlit morning for the burning bright, for the heart drum kept quiet, for the thought of 1,000 storms lived in, for the fire you carried, for the beneath the moon, for the simple flame, for the heat walked through the winter's breath, and the man whose name the cold wind knew yet, for the tried to bury the beneath the death, for the how to feel okay, for the inner voice of something hoarse, rough for the course, for the you set up in hearse and just desert, desert for the direct moment, for the premonition, for the champion, for a million for the bad thing when you find the dragon, for the happiness is a prose like the ignorance and just a rose, and just to plant the scene to big. Demolition of it you get, look at the future ahead, for the future is still unwritten, for the you can give me your pen and ink and hopes in your skin. Hidden to the heavens and lost in hell for the slumbering upon the dreamless in bed. Stream dreams, this in the magnet. Distress, this is when I find a dream. Carefully over the scattered amount to arts the multi queen the chair, this the throne, and never the accident I became. With the unfolding of the many rivers and the moon roots, this will find many dreams, and you are not defined by the limits of the pawn you're placing upon. On the light for the carry within, for this is not, or couldn't burn for the into the horizons of the sun bled into the night. And the ode to the suffering, the nightmares for to the walking days, to the empty eyes and the heart and the fist and never neglect. To the code of the own. Doubting in the existence of the love, and too much to the mind to be a prison for the unspoken things that ever go begging to the empty of myself. For every emotion I carry so deeply for the reading in my own heart, for the came of the stories and worn and torn for the dreams and the live and the cannot be unborn. I search for the answer to page by page to make some sense of every stage. This is the honey to please to define the verse that wasn't for the eyes to see. And there was the map discovering me for each line and tie and another thread and threading over the words and I've never said for the chapters that asked me to let go. Few through the anger for the hurt and the woe. Some found the endings in with the fight for the symptom you faded beyond the light. And then one fine day came for the soul with the open hands and it's never asked for the grander plans and there no hidden currents and over the pulpit low for the quiet truth that's allowed to grow for the learn. And the closest it is a fire for the nor measured by the desire for this sometimes. The deepest of moments a state of laughter for the love's embrace. You found the laughter, the found mind for the stilly face of this a small design for the intended for the side by side, for the woke the parts of this are left behind for those of the lines and those who soft the souls are true. Heard a voice that is somehow new for the Deborah honors and author words that this upon the page that they were on my heart and the only quiet language. And you just listen for the missing of the through the voice and this not to hear. The scream for the turn to grit, the smooth to find the scream for fulfillment for the shore to find the shawl, the world full of pleasures in the eyes. The journey has begun, but sometimes the sun shines so bright to feel like I'm on the moon with no water for the eyes to feel like they're filling up with the Sahara desert for the disobedient desert. The tree of the life has begun again for the middles of the night. And the hour for the stars to come out, the moon was shining its light. Glistening above the pink waters of the ocean for that you can have that suddenly the sound of the purple ember for the fires are crackling over the growing louder at the land that is began to shake. The sound of the fire, the children of the seas, the climbing in the mountains and never heard of that loyalty for the radiant is zero. I found the full of light for this found the way back to the flame. Found the way back to the home to the life of the found for the connection, for the communication, for the beautiful shown, found the beautiful. It's your turn. I search for the heart and purity, for the finding impurity, for the sun to mind, to find for the knowledge and the non, for the scratching the body and strength. And I find a weakness in what you find the dark that could not keep, but the spending a lifetime learning what it means to do. With all the broken pieces of your myself for the what it meant not to. And I was the womb for the where the tenderness and used to live. And not the kind that you can smell for the kind that smiles upon the people who loves it. It's a questioning of the being for the spent to ask the silence of the meant to be alive. If the universe were keeping the secrets and not only forgotten how to ask. The stars remain indifferent for the ancient fires burning without the witness and without the brief creature for the blood and the bone for the invent for the names of the darkness and the could find the answers for the perhaps existence for the doorway. For the room without an exit for the meaning of the candles and the we carry through the small trembling in the temple where we just somehow have to keep walking. I would have wondered up through the soul for the anything more than the memory stitched into the fragile memory. I find the machinery of the flesh that is the consciousness, simply of the universe become aware for its own loneliness. Still I awake for the laugh that perhaps the strangers are rebelling, and for the open my eyes each morning for the beneath that sky, for the promise of nothing but in love, and I cannot keep it the morning, I cannot resurrect, and to continue becoming despite the knowing I will one day cease. Maybe we are not here for the discovery for the some grand design. And maybe we are here for to make one for the leaving of fingerprints upon the lives of other, for the plants grave for the beneath the borrowed sun, and for the speaking for the kindness into the rooms that we all know they eventually leave. And for the final silence that comes to the name for the fate, and every mouth is
You